You don't need magic, you need meaning. Because when a woman speaks with truth, with perfect timing, and with quiet strength, she doesn't just get noticed, she gets remembered. Not just in the mind, but in the body. She gets felt in a way that lingers, that stays. Let that truth settle in your chest for a moment. Let it breathe with you. Somewhere along the way, someone convinced you of a lie. They told you that to hold a man's attention, you had to act a certain way, be a little sweeter, smile a bit more, dress up, play cool, respond faster, pretend to be more relaxed, be more fun, less real. You were given strategies, tricks, rules, and polished performances. But here you are, still wondering why it doesn't work, why you can give so much and still feel invisible. You ever noticed how some women talk a lot but leave no impact? They're speaking but not really being heard. Then there's that other woman, the one who barely says a word, yet the moment she opens her mouth, the whole room shifts. People lean in, heads turn. That's not magic. That's mastery. That's a woman who understands the weight of her voice, who isn't guessing. She speaks from her center, from a place deep inside. And that's exactly what we're unlocking today. Before we dive deeper, take a moment for yourself. Press like, subscribe if you haven't already. Do it, because you're ready to stop being overlooked. Because if you've ever felt like you've been doing everything right and still aren't truly seen, what we're about to explore might just be the shift you need. Now picture this, you're standing at the edge of a still lake early in the morning. The water is smooth like glass. You pick up a tiny pebble and drop it in. Even that small pebble sends ripples all across the surface. That's what powerful words do. Not loud, not forced, not flashy, just intentional. A whisper that echoes long after you've walked away. But what are most women doing? They're throwing rocks, shouting across the water, tossing out a storm of words, hoping something sticks. It doesn't. Because the secret isn't in how much you say, it's in the frequency, the energy behind your words. Here's something you might not have heard before. The subconscious mind, that deep place where true attraction lives, doesn't respond to logic. It listens to emotion. It reacts to tone, rhythm, presence, symbolism. Carl Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." And that isn't just about personal growth. It's about relationships too. Because a man doesn't fall for you because you explain yourself well. He falls when you ignite something inside him, something wordless, something he can't quite name but can't stop thinking about. The problem isn't that you're not trying, it's that you've been trying with the wrong tools. You ask, "How was your day?" He says, "Good." You follow with, "What do you do for work?" He gives a short answer, then silence. Nothing sticks. Why? Because your words didn't go deep enough. They didn't touch his heart or brush his soul. And let me tell you, this is not your fault. You were taught to perform, not to connect. But that's changing now. When you learn to speak with impact, not just sound, but true emotional precision, something shifts. When you know not just what to say, but when to say it, how to say it, and how to truly mean it, you no longer blend into the background, you stand out. When you show up with calm energy instead of anxious effort, people feel you. He feels you. And in that moment you become You don't need 50 clever lines. You need 3 words, said with your full presence, with a tone that's calm but certain. You need that grounded grace, the kind that makes a man freeze mid-thought and wonder, wait, who is she? That's not pickup. That's poetry. It's not manipulation, it's magnetism. It's emotional intelligence wrapped in rhythm. If you learn to speak with meaning, not just volume, you'll stop chasing attention and start naturally attracting it. Let's keep going. The human mind doesn't hold on to words. It holds on to energy. It remembers tone, rhythm, and emotional temperature. It's not the phrase that stays with someone. It's the way they felt when you said it. Write this down where you can see it. People may forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. That's not just a saying, it's a fundamental truth, especially with men. He won't remember your exact sentence, but if it hit him somewhere unexpected, somewhere honest, he'll carry that moment forever. Let me paint a picture. Imagine walking into a dark room filled with balloons. Each balloon has the same words on it. Hey, how are you? Just checking in. The air is thick with sameness. Now imagine you don't bring another balloon. You bring a single candle. You light it. That one flame draws every eye. It warms the room. It makes people pause. That's what your energy can do when it's real, not rushed. Many of you hold back from speaking deeply because you're afraid. Afraid you won't be understood. Afraid you'll come off too intense, too emotional, too serious, so you slip back into autopilot. Hey, what's up? Safe, harmless, but not unforgettable, not electric. You weren't born to be background noise. You were meant to stir something, but you were taught to stay small, to be polite, to never shake the water too much. Polite doesn't leave a mark. Presence does. When your words carry emotion, when they create images, when they suggest a story, he doesn't just hear them, he experiences them. You stop being a line of text on a screen. You become a feeling he wants again, not because of what you said, but because of how you said it, because of who you were when you said it. So from now on, make this your new standard. No more empty messages. No more surface talk just to fill space. Every word you send, every voice note, every sentence spoken, let it come from something real, from you. Not the version you think he wants, not the edited you who tries to fit in, just you. Stay close, because what's coming next will open even more doors. We're going deeper now into how you craft moments with words that don't just grab attention, but hold it long after you're gone. The 3 words that don't just land, they stay. They settle in his chest and echo in his mind. The kind that bypass his thinking and go straight into memory. Let's keep going. This is where the real shift begins. Number 2, 3 words that quietly changed the whole game. You and me. Sounds small, right? Not loud, not flashy, but don't let the simplicity fool you. These 3 words aren't just something you say, they're something you paint in the air. They create a picture, a possibility, a spark of shared energy. You and me, it's not a line, it's a reflection, a mirror, a moment. Say it with me now. You and me. It sounds soft, maybe even ordinary, but that's why it works. Sometimes the biggest emotional shifts don't come from dramatic speeches. They come from quiet little phrases that slip right into the nervous system without effort. When you say you and me, you're not begging, you're not asking for anything. You're gently planting a seed, a soft visual, a shared possibility. You're speaking in the language of suggestion, not pressure, not chasing, not forcing anything. Just opening a tiny window. Here's what most people don't know. The male mind, especially the unconscious part that drives attraction, doesn't respond best to logic or persuasion. It reacts to imagery, energy, and emotion, not explanations. Let's break it down in a way that sticks. Picture Denzel Washington looking into a mirror, talking to his younger self. He wouldn't say the right line. He'd say, "Son, it ain't about what you say, it's about what it stirs." That's the truth. When a woman delivers a phrase like "you and me" with calm certainty and a quiet spark in her eyes, you don't just hear it. You see it. You feel it. Now imagine you're sitting across from a man. The vibe is light, there's laughter. Instead of saying, "I like talking to you," you lean in with a slightly playful smile and say, "You and me could have dangerously good conversations." Boom. You didn't compliment him. You didn't try to impress. You invited him into something. You painted a possibility that didn't even exist before you said it. You and me, we'd win any arguments, especially if we're on the same team. Feel that? It's not a sales pitch, it's not a line, it's a moment, a flash of chemistry, a flicker of emotional curiosity. And yeah, maybe a tiny voice in your head whispers, "Is that too forward?" Or "What if he thinks I'm cheesy?" Or "What if he doesn't say anything back?" Here's something important. You're not saying it to get a reaction. You're saying it to leave a mark. And the beauty is, that impression doesn't fade easily. It lingers. It sits in the air, in his imagination, even if he doesn't respond right away. Because this isn't about chasing, it's about owning. This is confidence, not control. These are the moments that make a man pause, not because he feels pressure, but because, for the first time in a long time, he feels possibility. He feels something forming, a new door, a fresh idea. So next time the vibe is right, don't hold back. Don't retreat into silence. Don't try to play it cool. Drop the spark, drop the mirror. Say it casually, like it's no big deal. Say it with depth, like it's everything. You and me. It's not a trick, it's an opening, it's a doorway. Now where we're heading next, that's where timing comes into play. Because, just like a match won't catch if the wood is damp, even the most beautiful phrase won't hit home if it's said too soon or too often. Stay with me. It's about to get sharper, more precise. This phrase isn't about control. It's about confidence. You don't chase his attention, you create presence. Let that sink in for a moment. Because this right here, this is the pivot. This is the turning point. You and me isn't about manipulation. It's not a trick to get him to notice you. It's a reflection of how you see yourself. That phrase doesn't land because it's clever. It lands because of the way you deliver it. When you say it with quiet certainty, it communicates something much deeper. I'm not waiting to be chosen. I am the choice. Remember what Jung said. The unconscious is drawn to clarity, to symbols, to confidence. When you speak from a place of grounded belief, you become that symbol in a world full of people second-guessing, hesitating, shrinking. You become the lighthouse. Let's break it down again. Have you ever heard someone ask, "Do you maybe want to hang out sometime?" That's not confidence. That's someone knocking on a door they already have the key to, but still asking for permission. Now flip it. Try this. You and me should check out that spot downtown. That's presence. That's a vibe. That's leadership. That's suggestion, not a request. And if he's on your wavelength, he'll follow the current. Let me ask you, do you want to be remembered as the woman who tiptoed around her truth, or the one who said one unforgettable thing that made him feel something real? Because here's the deal, energy tells the truth. You can say all the right words, But if you say them like you're hoping they'll land, they won't. But if you say them with the knowing that your presence is enough, that's when something shifts. That's when he tilts his head, looks at you differently, and realizes she's not like the rest. It's not about being louder, it's about being deeper. It's not about being aggressive, it's about being aligned. That's feminine power. It doesn't yell, it doesn't plead, it just is. It stands still and speaks with a quiet kind of certainty that pulls people in. So stop asking for an invitation, stop being the invitation. Because once you stop trying to prove you're enough and start speaking like someone who knows she is, that's when the energy shifts. That's when you stop being ghosted, overlooked, or forgotten and start being felt long after the moment ends. And what we're diving into next? Timing. The razor-fine edge, where so many women unknowingly miss the mark. Not because they say the wrong thing, but because they say it at the wrong moment. And how to deliver your truth without creating pressure. Stay with me. This next part is precision. It's emotional clarity. Your energy enters the space before your words ever do. Say the perfect phrase with the wrong tone, wrong timing, or anxious body language, and it'll die before it even has a chance to land. That's the truth most people avoid, because it's not just what you say, it's how your whole presence carries it. You can say you and me 100 times, but if your eyes dart away, your voice shakes, your posture screams, "Please like me," it won't work. Not because the words are wrong, but because the energy behind them isn't aligned. You and me would make a dangerous team. But watch how it changes depending on how it's said. One woman says it with her arms folded tightly, eyes looking down, voice uncertain and thin, almost hoping it lands. The other says it with calm energy, open posture, steady eye contact, just enough to be felt, not forced. There's a soft half smile on her lips that says, "I'm good either way, with or without your reaction." Same words, entirely different experience, different vibe, different impact. You already know which one sticks in his memory. Calm confidence pulls people in because it's rare, it's magnetic, it feels grounded. Most people don't know how to be, they only know how to perform. And here's the thing, energy doesn't lie. Your energy tells a man whether you're standing in your power or reaching from emptiness and desperation. No matter how beautifully dressed, it still gives itself away. And you don't need to raise your voice or push harder to be powerful. You need to be present. Look him in the eyes. Not like you're asking for something, but like you're simply meeting him there. Sit or stand in a relaxed way. Not like your body is begging for approval, but like it already owns its worth. That stillness you feel when you're not chasing, when you're not scrambling for the right thing to say. That's your secret weapon. Let it wrap around your words. Let it do the work with your words. When you say something meaningful, then pause, hold the silence. That's when it settles. That's when it lands in a deeper place. We should stop calling it confidence and start calling it congruence. Because your words and your body, they need to say the same thing. When they do, when your inner world lines up with your outer expression, he doesn't just hear you, he feels you. And that's the difference between a phrase that gets ignored and one that gets remembered. Now let's move to the next piece, the part most women miss. When do you say it? Because timing is everything. Say it too early, it's pressure. Say it too late, it's a missed window. But say it just right, and now you're not just speaking to his mind, you're waking up his attention. Stay with me, because this is where precision meets power. Timing is sacred. Don't rush the moment. Don't throw your best energy into a space that isn't ready to receive it. A wise woman doesn't speak for applause, she waits for the window. And in the world of real connection, that moment is everything. You could have the most beautiful words, the calmest energy, the warmest presence, but if you say you and me too soon, it doesn't feel like a spark, it feels like a pitch, and nothing shuts down chemistry faster than pressure. If it comes too early, he pulls back. If you say it too many times, it loses all its weight. He stops feeling it. This isn't just about words, it's about when you say them. The right time is when the energy's light, the vibe is flowing, he's laughing, he's leaning in, he's opened the door. That's when you slide it in like it was always meant to be there. Not loud, not forced, just gently dropped into the space, like a soft flame. Picture this. He's talking about his favorite taco truck. You smile and say, "You and me should hit that spot. See if it's as good as they say." That's it. No pressure, no awkward wait. Just a moment, a picture. You didn't ask, you simply declared, and then you let it go. You didn't grip it, you didn't wait for approval, you trusted the seed would grow on its own. That's attraction. Not a shout, but a whisper that hangs in the air. Most women hold on too tight, trying to control the moment, trying to get confirmation, but the woman who knows her value, she drops the line and lets the silence carry it. She knows the power of stillness. She knows he might think about it later when he's alone driving home, and out of nowhere it hits him. You and me would make a dangerous team. And he smiles, and he feels it, and he doesn't even know why. That's not manipulation, that's meaning, that's resonance, that's a ripple in his inner world. And the beautiful thing, if he truly felt it, you won't have to repeat it. You won't have to chase anything, you'll already be echoing in him. This kind of woman, she doesn't just leave an impression, she leaves a symbol, a myth, a little story that lives just beneath his conscious thoughts. She's not begging to be remembered. She becomes unforgettable by how she moves, how she speaks, and most importantly, by how she lets go. Don't chase reactions. Don't sit there waiting to be graded. Don't watch his face for signs of approval. Speak like a woman who knows how powerful her voice is, especially when she lets it breathe. Now we're stepping into the next part, the part most people completely overlook. Silence, the moment after. Because sometimes what you don't say is the loudest thing in the room. Stay with me. Let the silence work for you. If you drop the phrase and immediately look for a response, you've already lost the power. If you drop a line like "you and me" and then sit there staring at him, waiting for a smile, waiting for validation, that energy speaks and it says, "I need you to tell me I said the right thing, but you didn't say it to get a gold star. You said it because it felt true." Let that sink into your chest. The silence afterward isn't empty, it's full. It's where the weight of your words can settle. It's the space that allows your energy to breathe. That's the difference between someone who performs and someone who lands. Because a woman who is truly confident, she's not afraid of silence, she welcomes it. She lets her words echo. She lets them stretch across time, even after the moment has passed. Because she knows the right phrase, said in the right tone, at the right time, delivered from the right energy, that can stay with a man for days, even weeks. And what we're moving into next, that's where your words stop being tools and start becoming symbols.